Hey, what's going on? It's Andy Blanks again with another teacher prep video. This one is for lesson 3 of Jesus and Stuff. And Jesus and Stuff is, of course, part of our Jesus Studies line of Bible study curriculum, where we really look at what Jesus says about particular topics. And this one, of course, is our stuff. It's our possessions, materialism. And I hope by this point you've really enjoyed your time studying what Jesus has to say about our stuff, and I hope the first 2 lessons, particularly last lesson, was challenging to your students. Now, in lesson 3, we're going to do something a little bit different, and it's going to take a little bit of guts on your part. I think you can pull it off. And we took a little risk writing it like this, but I hope it turns out to be a meaningful time for you and your students. We're going to be looking at Luke chapter 12. We're going to be looking at really kind of a passage that starts with Jesus having kind of a weird interaction with a man. A guy comes up to Jesus, and he basically says to Jesus, I need you to tell my brother to divide up his inheritance with me. And Jesus has this really interesting reaction. He says, who appointed me, arbiter over your argument, or who made me judge over your situation? Which is kind of a funny response from Jesus, but if you read commentary about it, basically they'll say Jesus tried hard on several occasions. It's kind of the same thing, the same tone he would have approached Mary with when she asked him to fix the wine situation at the wedding at Cana. And basically Jesus is trying to keep the distinction between earthly matters and heavenly matters, things that he wasn't put in charge of, things that weren't about his mission. And that's kind of why he responds in that way to this guy. But true to form, Jesus always teaching, always trying to lead people closer to God's kingdom. He kind of comes back and he hits this guy a little bit with some knowledge and some wisdom. He says, basically, be on your guard against all type of greed. And we want to focus on this next part. He basically listens to the guy and he says, a man's life doesn't consist of the abundance of his possessions. And what he's talking about is the quality of life. And the passage goes on, but that's really where we're going to hammer home. We're going to talk to your students about this idea of the lie that culture tells that we buy into, of our stuff or our possessions adding value to our lives. And we spend so much time chasing after possessions and monetary things because we feel like it adds value to our lives. And sure, having things makes life a little more fun, right? But they're so temporal, and a lot of times, as we know, when the desire for possessions gets unhealthy, that's what Jesus is talking about here. He's talking about greed. We can put so much emphasis on those things, on that stuff, and we can seek and want more and more and more. And then what happens is our lives are given over to searching for meaning in things, when really the lasting meaning is our relationship with God and our relationship with others and the work that God can do through us. So I want to help your students see that, but then we want to do something kind of cool. And this is a little bit crazy, and I think you'll enjoy it. We want you to challenge your kids with the idea, at least, of what they can do without. We want to encourage your students to consider giving away some of their stuff. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, right? But it's a good point in this 4-lesson study to do that. And of course, in the lesson, we give you all the words to do this in a language, and we definitely say, hey, make sure you check with your parents first. But the idea is we want them to get used to thinking that their stuff isn't what's ultimately valuable. What's ultimately valuable is their faithfulness to God. And so we want them to think about what stuff do they have, what possessions do they have that they can do without, that would be better, have more value if they gave it away, if they gave it to a charity, or if they gave it to a missions organization or something like that. Maybe something your church does. So challenge them to do that. And part of it is you actually being willing to consider giving away something of yours as well, and modeling that for them. Modeling, donating some of your stuff, and showing them what you're doing and telling them what you're doing to lead them to that behavior. It's just birthing this idea of generosity towards God, especially with our possessions. So it's kind of a cool lesson, right? You may call us or email us and say, hey, what the heck are you doing? Tell me to give my stuff away. But that's cool. We'd love to talk to you. But anyway, I hope that's a neat lesson. I hope that provides you with a neat challenge, kind of something a little different. And I would really follow up with your students. They're going to be most successful if you'll text them, call them, email them, Facebook them after this lesson, and follow up with them or talk to their parents and see how that's going. But anyway, I think it'll provide you with some meaningful discussion, something a little out of the ordinary, and hopefully it'll really challenge them to address their attitudes towards their stuff, which is the whole point. Hope your lesson goes great. Call us, email us, live chat us if you have any questions or if we can help you in any way. And I'll talk to you on our lesson 4 teacher prep video. Take care.